Now, in the previous 9 chapters, we looked at your whole identity, which is simply looking at how you were brought forth into this world to be a creator. You walk with the Creator, you learn from Him, and then you bring your unique interpretations into the world. Now, once you accept that you are a creator, you start wondering about your role identity. You know your whole identity as a creator, but now you're like, but what role do I get to play? And the Creator gave us 3 roles in the Garden of Eden. He said subdue, He said fill, and He said rule. And we understand these roles more specifically by the characters we create for stories. So the subduing warrior, the filling wizard, or the ruling will. So we're going to look at each of these roles in depth, and we're going to start today with the warrior. So what distinguishes the warrior? The warrior is focused on action. The warrior likes to act, and the body itself is the visible expression of the spiritual warrior. So the warrior always wants to act with the intention of subduing. You're going to put something into its place. You're going to establish borders. You're going to bring something into you and make it yours. These are all subduing acts, and men and women do it a little bit differently. Men tend to draw the lines, cast things out. Women like to draw things into them. But these are both subduing acts, and we need to understand both sides to truly express the warrior. But the ultimate intent of the warrior in the subduing actions is to prepare and bring forth glory. That's always the intent. That is what the warrior is going for. So we can see that a warrior creates actions, subduing creation into glory. Let's look a little closer at action. So when a warrior is acting, the warrior is acting from a place of separation. You can't bring separation until you've first been separated. So the Creator has to come and seize the warrior's soul, separate the warrior's soul from creation, and take the warrior out of creation. So that spiritual act of separation, that's what the warrior wants to express visibly. But you can't visibly express what hasn't spiritually happened to you. So the first step to being a warrior is to submit to the warrior, the Creator Himself, who's going to come in and separate you. Then you can go out into creation and express towards separation. So you can only give separation to creation after you've been separated. And as you go out as the warrior and walk around, you're the living expression. You're acting as a being who's been separated and as a living expression of separation itself. And the warrior wants to model this. You want to show the world what it means to be separated visibly. Now, visible separation doesn't really have any lasting value. It's a show, it's a model of what the spiritual Creator desires to do to every soul. And that's what the warrior wants to be about. So a warrior's actions separate creation, and he's putting this on, she's putting this on to make a show for the world. So this subduing idea, the action is intent on subduing creation. Now, it's important to understand that the warrior is always going to subdue from a place of death. And you say, well, that doesn't sound right. Why would you want to subdue something into death? We need to be open here about the way things are. The human soul is lifeless. Only the Creator is life, right? So if you're lifeless, that would make you dead. So if you're going to act on creation, the only thing you can bring is death. And the warrior grasps this more than the other 2 roles. So the warrior goes out and subdues creation into death. Why? Because it's going to create a bond between the warrior, the dead warrior, and the dead creation. And then the warrior knows, if I'm walking with the life, the Creator of life, then that living life will flow through me into the bond that I've created and out into creation. So the warrior is subduing towards death intentionally because he was made dead intentionally, so that he would need the Creator of life. So then he goes out and he grabs, she brings in everything that's dead, so that through the warrior all things will be brought closer to the one who is life. And the warrior is not just enacting death, the warrior is modeling death. So you bring death, and we see this in the imagery. The sword brings death. That's a visual display, the cutting, the separating, and I will bring in what I choose to bring in, and I will cast out what I choose to cast out, because the bonds that I make are lasting. And through these bonds, life will flow in through me into what I have subdued. So this is the warrior's intention, to subdue what he selects, what she brings in, and then become the binding source with the creator. So a warrior subdues creation into death in preparation for life. Now, the ultimate intent of the warrior is glory, bringing glory into the world. But there's a catch. As fallen warriors, we feel that we can just go out and bring glory however we see fit. But remember, the soul's dead. The soul's lifeless without the Creator. So the first step is glorifying from a place of life. And there's only one who is life. So until your soul is living with the Creator of life, you can't bring glory. Now, once the soul has been separated by the Creator, taken into the Creator, then the warrior and the body can go forth into creation and glorify towards life, to bring forth expressions of what has already been received in the soul. So from the Creator, life flows into the warrior's soul, out through the warrior's body, and then through every bond, every subdued connection, in order to propagate and nourish creation. So that makes the warrior's body a living expression of life. Now, the warrior's body isn't life. You're just modeling life. You're displaying life as the warrior. So a warrior glorifies creation into ever-increasing life. And the only way to do that is to have your soul living with the one who is infinite life. And that is the source of a warrior's strength.